Welcome to Sacred Texts Summarized. Today we explore the Bhagavad Gita, one of the most profound and influential spiritual texts in history. Known as the Song of God, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Indian epic Mahabharata and presents a dialogue between Prince Arjuna and Lord Krishna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. In this sacred text, Krishna imparts timeless teachings about duty, self-realization, and the nature of life. In this expanded summary, we will journey through the historical context, the key teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, and the practical wisdom it offers. By exploring its chapters in greater depth, we will uncover its profound insights into dharma, karma, devotion, and liberation, reflecting on how these timeless lessons can be applied to our modern lives. The Bhagavad Gita is set during a moment of profound crisis. Arjuna, a great warrior, finds himself overwhelmed with doubt and despair as he faces his own family, friends, and teachers on the battlefield. Stricken by moral confusion, he questions the value of fighting in a war that will bring suffering and death. This moral dilemma is universal. We all face moments where our responsibilities clash with our emotions, and we are unsure of the right path. It is in such moments that the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita offer clarity. In this moment of turmoil, Lord Krishna, Arjuna's charioteer, reveals his divine nature and begins to guide Arjuna toward clarity, courage, and action. Through their dialogue, the Bhagavad Gita explores the central themes of dharma, duty, karma, action, and moksha, liberation. It teaches us how to live a life of purpose, detachment, and devotion while navigating the complexities of existence. During this conversation, Krishna also reveals his cosmic form, known as the Vishvarupa, a moment of great significance in the text. In this vision, Arjuna sees Krishna as the embodiment of all creation, destruction, and the eternal cycle of life. Overwhelmed by the awe-inspiring sight, Arjuna hears Krishna declare, "I am time, the great destroyer of the world, and I have come here to engage all people. Even without your participation, all the warriors standing on this battlefield shall not survive." 1132. This revelation underscores the inevitability of death and the impermanence of life, emphasizing the importance of fulfilling one's dharma without attachment or fear. The nature of dharma. Duty. The first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita addresses the nature of dharma, or one's duty. Arjuna's reluctance to fight stems from his emotional attachment to loved ones and his fear of committing harm. In response, Krishna reminds him of the importance of fulfilling one's dharma without attachment to results. He says, "You have a right to perform your prescribed duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits of your actions. Do not let the results of your work be your motive, and do not be attached to inaction." 2:247. Here, Krishna introduces the principle of karma yoga, the path of selfless action. By performing one's duty with focus and detachment, we free ourselves from the suffering caused by desire and expectation. This teaching emphasizes that action is inevitable. We cannot escape it. Even avoiding action is itself a choice. The key, Krishna explains, is to act selflessly, with a pure intention, without being bound by the outcome. To illustrate this, Krishna uses the metaphor of a lotus flower, which grows in muddy water yet remains untouched and pure. Like the lotus, we too can engage in the world without being attached to its results. Reflection. Exercise. Think about a task or responsibility in your life that you have been avoiding or approaching with hesitation. Reflect on how you can perform this task without fixating on success or failure. By focusing on the action itself and letting go of the outcome, you can experience a sense of purpose and inner peace. Additionally, consider the broader implications of dharma in your life. Ask yourself, what are the responsibilities that align with my higher purpose? How can I approach them with dedication and balance? The eternal nature of the soul, Atman. The second key teaching of the Bhagavad Gita focuses on self-realization and the eternal nature of the soul. Arjuna is deeply distressed by the thought of killing his family members in battle. Krishna reassures him by revealing a profound truth. The physical body is temporary, but the true self, the Atman, is eternal and indestructible. He says, "For the soul, there is neither birth nor death. Having once been, it never ceases to be. It is unborn, eternal, ever-existing, and primeval. It is not slain when the body is slain." 220. This teaching helps us see beyond the illusion of the material world and realize our deeper, unchanging nature. The body is like a garment that the soul wears, discarding it when it is no longer needed. Birth and death are simply transitions for the soul, which continues its journey. Krishna explains that recognizing the eternal nature of the self frees us from fear, grief, and attachment. It also teaches us to see all beings as equal, as each is an expression of the divine. To further elaborate, Krishna compares the soul to the air that moves through various spaces but remains unchanged. This metaphor reminds us that while external forms may change, the essence remains constant. Reflection. Exercise. Sit in a quiet place and close your eyes. Reflect on the idea that you are not your body, thoughts, or emotions. Instead, you are the witness to all these experiences, unchanging, eternal, and calm. As you observe your thoughts and sensations, remind yourself, "I am the eternal self, beyond change and death." To deepen this practice, visualize the transient nature of your experiences like clouds passing through the sky. Notice how this awareness brings a sense of peace and stability. Detachment and mastery of the mind. Another central teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is detachment and the mastery of the restless mind. Krishna warns Arjuna that attachment to pleasure, material possessions, and outcomes leads to suffering and bondage. He says, when a man gives up all desires that enter the mind, and when he is satisfied in the self alone, then he is said to be one of steady wisdom. 2:5. Krishna emphasizes the practice of equanimity, remaining balanced in both success and failure, pleasure and pain. This is not about renouncing life, but about learning to engage fully without becoming enslaved by cravings and aversions. To achieve this state, Krishna introduces the practices of Jnana Yoga, the path of wisdom, and Dhyana Yoga, the path of meditation. By calming the restless mind through meditation and cultivating wisdom, we develop clarity, inner peace, and freedom from suffering. Reflection. Exercise. Throughout your day, observe your reactions to situations. Notice where you experience attachment, whether to an outcome, a possession, or an idea. Practice letting go by reminding yourself of the impermanent nature of all things. In moments of frustration, pause and take a deep breath, anchoring yourself in the present moment. Expand this practice by journaling about the things you cling to and exploring ways to cultivate freedom from these attachments. The path of devotion, Bhakti Yoga. The Bhagavad Gita also highlights the path of devotion and surrender known as Bhakti Yoga. In this path, Krishna teaches that love, faith, and surrender to the divine are the simplest and most powerful ways to find liberation. He says, "Whoever offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, that offering of love I accept." 9.26. Bhakti Yoga is about cultivating love and trust in the divine, surrendering the ego, and aligning one's actions with a higher purpose. Krishna explains that devotion is not limited to religious rituals, but can be expressed through selfless service, gratitude, and kindness. This teaching is universal. Anyone, regardless of background or belief, can walk the path of devotion. By surrendering to the divine, we release the burdens of ego and fear, finding joy and peace in the process. Reflection. Exercise. Take a moment to reflect on someone or something that inspires deep love and gratitude in your life. Dedicate a small act of service or kindness today, whether it's helping someone, offering a prayer, or simply expressing heartfelt thanks. Approach this act with sincerity and devotion. Extend this practice by meditating on the interconnectedness of all beings, recognizing how devotion to the divine also manifests as compassion for others. Liberation through surrender. The final and ultimate teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is liberation through surrender. Krishna urges Arjuna to let go of his doubts, fears, and ego and surrender completely to the divine will. He says, "Abandon all varieties of dharma and simply surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear." 1866. Surrender is not about passivity, but about trust. It is the willingness to align ourselves with the greater flow of life, accepting what comes without resistance. In surrender, we find freedom from suffering and discover the peace that lies beyond the ego. The Bhagavad Gita concludes with Arjuna's transformation. Having received Krishna's wisdom, he rises from despair with clarity, courage, and purpose, ready to fulfill his dharma. Reflection. Exercise. Think about an area of your life where you feel resistance or fear. What would it feel like to let go of control and trust in a higher order? Spend a few minutes reflecting or journaling on this question, imagining yourself releasing your burdens and finding peace. To deepen this reflection, create a small ritual of surrender, whether through writing down your worries and symbolically letting them go, or offering a moment of silence and prayer. The Bhagavad Gita is a timeless guide to living a life of wisdom, courage, and devotion. Its teachings inspire us to act selflessly, realize our eternal nature, and surrender to the divine with love and trust. By integrating these lessons into our lives, we learn to navigate challenges with grace and discover the inner peace that leads to liberation. As Krishna tells Arjuna, "Arise, O Arjuna, with a courageous heart, perform your duty and trust in the divine." Thank you for joining us in this exploration of the Bhagavad Gita. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Sacred Texts Summarized for more wisdom from the world's greatest spiritual traditions. Until next time, may you walk the path of courage, wisdom, and peace.